First contact. The day the ships appeared in Earth's orbit started like any other. Sarah Chen, lead astronomer at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, was reviewing data from the previous night's observations when her computer screen suddenly went blank. Seconds later, it flickered back to life, displaying a message in perfect English. People of Earth, we come in peace. We offer you eternal prosperity and an end to all conflict. All we ask in return is your loyalty and service. Sarah blinked, unsure if she was hallucinating. She called out to her colleague, Dr. James Wilson, who was engrossed in his own work across the room. "James, are you seeing this?" Before he could respond, the entire observatory shook violently. Sarah rushed to the window, her eyes widening in disbelief. Massive, gleaming silver ships hung in the sky, their smooth surfaces reflecting the morning sunlight. They were unlike anything humans had ever constructed, clearly of extraterrestrial origin. As Sarah and James watched in awe, similar reports began pouring in from around the globe. The alien ships had appeared simultaneously over every major city on Earth, their message broadcasting on all frequencies and devices. In Washington, D.C., President Elena Martinez was quickly ushered into a secure bunker beneath the White House. Her advisors scrambled to make sense of the situation, their faces pale with shock and fear. Madam President, General Thomas Hawkins began, his voice steady despite the circumstances. "We've confirmed the presence of over 200 alien vessels in low Earth orbit. Our military satellites and defense systems have been completely neutralized. We're defenseless." President Martinez took a deep breath, steeling herself. "Have they made any aggressive moves?" "No, ma'am," replied Susan Lee, the National Security Advisor. "They seem to be waiting for a response to their message." "And what exactly are they asking for?" the president inquired, her brow furrowed. "Based on the broadcasts, they're offering to solve all of Earth's problems: disease, hunger, climate change, war, in exchange for our servitude," Susan explained, her voice faltering on the last word. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Eternal peace and prosperity sounded appealing, but at what cost? The aliens were essentially asking humanity to willingly enslave itself. Meanwhile, in a small apartment in New York City, former Army Ranger turned journalist Jack Harpo watched the events unfold on his television. Unlike the crowds gathering in Times Square, staring up at the hovering ships with a mixture of fear and wonder, Jack felt a growing sense of unease. He'd seen firsthand how promises of peace could lead to oppression during his tours in various conflict zones. Something about this offer felt too good to be true. Jack grabbed his phone, dialing his old military buddy, Mike Ramirez, who now worked at the Pentagon. "Mike, are you seeing this?" Jack asked as soon as the call connected. "Yeah, man, it's chaos here," Mike replied, his voice barely audible over the background commotion. "Listen, I can't talk long, but something's not right. These aliens, they're not telling us everything. Watch your back, Jack." The line went dead, leaving Jack with more questions than answers. He grabbed his laptop and began digging, reaching out to his network of sources around the world. If there was more to this story, he was determined to uncover it. As the day wore on, the world seemed to hold its breath. In every country, leaders debated the aliens' offer while citizens took to the streets. Some celebrating what they saw as humanity's salvation, others protesting against what they perceived as an invasion. In London, Dr. Emily Watson, a renowned physicist, pored over the limited data available on the alien ships. Their technology was centuries, if not millennia, beyond anything humanity had achieved. The ability to neutralize Earth's entire defense network in seconds was terrifying, yet they claimed to come in peace. "It doesn't add up," Emily muttered to herself, scribbling equations and diagrams in her notebook. "Why would a civilization this advanced need our service? What could we possibly offer them?" As night fell, the alien ships remained in position, their presence a constant reminder of how small and vulnerable Earth truly was in the cosmic scale. In homes, bars, and public squares around the world, people debated the offer. Some argued that accepting the aliens' help could end all human suffering. Others warned that giving up freedom for security was a dangerous path. In the White House Situation Room, President Martinez prepared to address the nation. Her advisors were split, some advocating for accepting the offer to avoid potential conflict, others urging caution and further attempts at communication. "My fellow Americans and citizens of the world," the president began, her voice broadcast globally. "Today, we face the most momentous decision in human history. We have been offered peace and prosperity by beings from another world. But this offer comes at a price: our autonomy, our right to self-determination." She paused, her gaze steady as she looked directly into the camera. "I have sworn to protect and defend the freedoms that define us as a nation and as a species. While we will continue to seek peaceful dialogue with our extraterrestrial visitors, we cannot and will not simply surrender our liberty, no matter how enticing the offer." As the president's words echoed around the world, reactions were mixed. Some cheered her decision, while others feared it would provoke the aliens into hostile action. In New York, Jack Harper nodded grimly at his television. The journalist in him knew this was just the beginning of the story. High above the earth, in the largest of the alien ships, a being known as the Overseer observed the humans' response with cold calculation. It turned to its subordinate, communicating in a series of complex telepathic pulses. They resist, as expected. Proceed to phase 2. Let us see how they respond when we demonstrate the consequences of defiance. As the first day of humanity's encounter with alien life drew to a close, no one on Earth could have imagined the trials and challenges that lay ahead. The true test of human resilience and ingenuity was about to begin. The resistance forms. In the days following President Martinez's address, an uneasy calm settled over the world. The alien ships remained in orbit, silent and motionless, their presence a constant reminder of the choice humanity faced. Jack Harper couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. His apartment had become a makeshift command center, walls covered in notes and printouts as he tried to piece together the puzzle. His phone rang, startling him from his thoughts. "Harper," he answered gruffly. "Jack, it's Mike. We need to meet. Now." The urgency in Mike Ramirez's voice was clear. An hour later, Jack found himself in a dimly lit parking garage, reminiscent of clandestine meetings from old spy movies. Mike emerged from the shadows, looking haggard and paranoid. "They're watching us, Jack. The aliens. They've infiltrated our communications, our defense systems. It's worse than we thought." Mike handed Jack a USB drive. "This contains classified data on strange occurrences since the ships arrived. People disappearing, unexplained phenomena. It's not just happening here, it's worldwide." Before Jack could respond, a blinding light flooded the garage. Mike's eyes widened in terror. "They found us. Run!" he shouted, pushing Jack towards the exit. Jack sprinted away, the sound of an unearthly hum filling the air. When he looked back, Mike was gone, vanished without a trace. Across the Atlantic, Dr. Emily Watson was reaching similar conclusions in her London lab. The data didn't lie. There were clear patterns of increased seismic activity, atmospheric disturbances, and magnetic anomalies since the aliens' arrival. "They're not just watching," she murmured to herself. "They're already changing our planet." A knock at her lab door made her jump. She quickly hid her research as a colleague entered. "Emily, have you seen the news? People are volunteering to join the aliens. They're calling it the Unity Program." Emily's blood ran cold. She nodded absently as her colleague chatted excitedly about the prospect of advanced alien technology. Once alone, she made a decision. It was time to go public with her findings. In Washington, D.C., President Martinez faced mounting pressure. Several countries had already accepted the aliens' offer, their citizens eagerly embracing the promise of a better life. The aliens had begun showcasing their technology, curing diseases, cleaning polluted areas, even altering weather patterns. Madam President, General Hawkins reported, "We're losing public support. People are demanding we accept the offer before it's too late." Martinez stood at the window, watching protests outside the White House gates. "And if we do accept, Thomas, what then? Do we simply hand over our planet, our free will?" Before the general could respond, alarms blared throughout the building. "We're under attack," a voice shouted over the intercom. But it wasn't the aliens. A group calling themselves the Human Liberation Front had launched a series of coordinated attacks on government buildings worldwide, declaring that any leader who considered accepting the alien offer was a traitor to humanity. As chaos erupted, a small group gathered in a secure bunker beneath an abandoned military base in the Nevada desert. Jack Harper, having followed the clues from Mike's USB drive, found himself face to face with an unlikely alliance: Dr. Emily Watson, who had fled London after an attempt on her life, a disillusioned CIA operative named Sophia Reyes, and a brilliant teenage hacker known only as Ghost. "Welcome to the Resistance," Sophia said grimly as Jack entered the room. Over the next few hours, they shared their findings. Emily explained the environmental changes, while Sophia revealed shocking intelligence about people who had volunteered for the Unity program. They were returning changed, their individuality seemingly erased. Ghost, fingers flying over a keyboard, had managed to intercept encrypted alien communications. "They're not here to help us," the young hacker declared. "This is an invasion, but not like anything we've ever seen before. They're terraforming Earth, altering it to suit them." Jack nodded, pieces of the puzzle finally falling into place. "And they need us as a compliant workforce to help them do it. That's why they're offering peace and prosperity. They want willing slaves." The group debated their next move. Direct conflict seemed futile given the aliens' technological superiority. They needed to find a way to expose the truth and unite humanity against the real threat. "We need to hijack their communication systems," Emily suggested. "If we can broadcast the truth to everyone at once, maybe we can wake people up before it's too late." Ghost grinned. "Now that sounds like fun, but we'll need access to some serious hardware." Sophia leaned forward. "I might be able to help with that, but it'll be dangerous. We'll be going up against both the aliens and our own governments." Jack stood, a determined look in his eyes. "We don't have a choice. The future of our species is at stake." As the Resistance began to formulate their plan, events were unfolding rapidly across the globe. More and more people were volunteering for the Unity program, lured by promises of perfect health and extended lifespans. Those who returned spoke in eerie unison about the beauty of serving the greater good. In orbit, the overseer received reports of the growing resistance movement. It communicated with its subordinates, its message cold and clear: "Accelerate the process. If they will not join willingly, we will give them no choice." Suddenly, all over the world, the alien ships began to descend from orbit. Their message, broadcast once again on all frequencies, had changed. "People of Earth, you have been given time to consider our generous offer. Now, you must choose. Join us and live in eternal peace, or face the consequences of your defiance." As the massive ships hovered over major cities, casting long shadows over terrified populations, humanity stood at a crossroads. The Resistance knew they were in a race against time. Could they uncover the aliens' weaknesses and rally humanity to fight back before it was too late? In the Nevada bunker, Jack looked at his newfound allies. "This is it," he said quietly. "Whatever we do next will determine the fate of our entire species." The others nodded solemnly, the weight of their task heavy on their shoulders. The battle for Earth's future had begun, and humanity's greatest test lay ahead: uncovering the truth. As alien ships descended upon major cities worldwide, panic gripped the global population. Millions rushed to join the Unity program, desperate for the promised salvation. Others fled to the countryside, hoping to escape what they saw as impending doom. In their underground bunker, the Resistance team worked tirelessly. Ghost's fingers flew over the keyboard, sifting through intercepted alien communications. Suddenly, the young hacker's eyes widened. "I found something," Ghost announced. "It's fragmentary, but I think I've cracked part of their language algorithm." The team huddled around the screen as Ghost explained. "They're not just communicating, they're terraforming through some kind of quantum entanglement network. Every ship, every converted human, they're all nodes in a vast, planet-wide system." Dr. Emily Watson's scientific mind raced with the implications. That's how they're changing the environment so quickly. But why? What's their end goal? Before anyone could respond, Sophia burst into the room, her face pale. "We've got a problem. The government. What's left of it. They're coming for us," someone talked. Jack Harper sprang into action. "We need to move. Now, Ghost, grab everything you can. Emily, Sophia, wipe this place clean. We leave in 5. As they scrambled to evacuate, Jack's mind whirled. Who could have betrayed them? And to whom? With governments crumbling under alien pressure, who was really calling the shots? They fled into the desert night, the sound of approaching helicopters growing louder. Sophia led them to a hidden underground hangar where an unmarked military transport awaited. "Last gift from some old CIA friends," she explained as they boarded. "Let's hope it's enough to keep us off the radar." As they soared through the night sky, Emily shared a troubling realization. The environmental changes, the Unity program, it's all connected. I think they're trying to alter the fundamental nature of our planet and our species." Jack nodded grimly. "Not just altering, assimilating. The question is, why Earth? Why us?" Ghost, still tapping away at a laptop, suddenly gasped. "Oh no, oh no, no, no. What is it?" the others asked in unison. "I've decrypted more of their communications. Guys, Earth isn't their first target. We're just the latest in a long line of conquered planets. They're like cosmic locusts, consuming world after world." The revelation hung heavy in the air. The fate of not just humanity, but countless other species across the galaxy rested on their shoulders. As dawn broke, they touched down in a remote area of the Rocky Mountains. An old military bunker, long abandoned and forgotten by official records, would serve as their new base of operations. While Sophia and Jack secured the perimeter, Emily and Ghost continued their analysis of the alien data. Hours passed, punctuated by hushed discussions and the constant hum of computers. Suddenly, Emily jumped up, knocking over her chair. "That's it. I can't believe I didn't see it before." The others gathered around as she excitedly explained her discovery. "The aliens, they're not just changing our planet, they're changing us at a quantum level. The Unity program, it's rewriting human DNA, aligning it with their own quantum frequency." Ghost nodded enthusiastically. "That's why they need willing participants. Forced conversion is possible, but voluntary submission makes the process much more stable." Jack frowned. "But why? What's the point of all this?" Emily's eyes shone with the thrill of scientific breakthrough, tempered by the horror of its implications. Energy. Pure, sustainable energy. By aligning all matter on a planet to a specific quantum frequency, they create a sort of planet-wide battery. They're turning Earth, and us, into a massive power source. The room fell silent as the full weight of the situation sank in. Humanity wasn't being offered utopia, it was being harvested. Sophia was the first to speak. "So how do we stop them?" Ghost grinned mischievously. "We use their own network against them. If we can broadcast a counter-frequency through their quantum entanglement system, we could disrupt their entire operation," Emily finished, excitement building in her voice. Jack nodded slowly. "It's a start, but we'll need more than that. We need a way to wake up those who've already joined the Unity program, and we need to find a way to take out those ships." As they began to formulate a plan, a crackling transmission came through on one of their secure channels. A familiar voice filled the room. "This is President Martinez. If anyone from the Resistance is receiving this, we need your help. I'm with a group of loyalists, but we're surrounded. The aliens, they're not what they seem. Please, if you're out there, Earth needs you now more than ever." Jack and Sophia exchanged glances. It could be a trap, but if it wasn't... "We can't risk it," Sophia said, voicing what they were all thinking. "It's too dangerous." But Jack stood up, determination etched on his face. "We don't have a choice. If there's even a chance the president is alive and fighting back, we need to take it. She might have resources we need." Emily nodded in agreement. "Besides, we can't develop a solution in isolation. We need to know what's happening out there." The decision made, they began preparing for their most dangerous mission yet. As Ghost worked on pinpointing the president's location, Jack and Sophia inventoried their limited weapons and supplies. Emily pulled Jack aside, her face etched with concern. "Jack, if this goes wrong, I need you to promise me something. The research, the data we've uncovered, it can't fall into their hands. If it looks like we're going to be captured..." Jack placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, understanding the unspoken request. "It won't come to that. But if it does, I promise, I'll make sure they don't get anything from us." As night fell, the team made final preparations. They knew that from this point on, every move they made could determine the fate of their species. The aliens' true nature had been uncovered, but the real battle was just beginning. Loading their equipment into their vehicle, Jack took one last look at the mountains around them. Somewhere up there, President Martinez was waiting. And beyond, an unsuspecting Earth continued to embrace its would-be conquerors. "Let's move out," Jack ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of their situation. "It's time to take back our planet." As they drove into the night, none of them could shake the feeling that this mission would change everything. The truth had been uncovered, but the fight to save humanity was far from over. Humanity fights back. The resistance team's journey to rescue President Martinez was fraught with danger. They navigated through abandoned towns and cities, witnessing firsthand the eerie transformation of their world. Streets once bustling with life now stood empty, save for the occasional patrol of blank-faced Unity program converts. As they neared the coordinates of the president's distress signal, Jack couldn't shake a feeling of unease. "It's too quiet," he muttered, scanning the horizon. Suddenly, the air was filled with a high-pitched whine. "EMP." Sophia yelled, but it was too late. Their vehicle died, electronics frying instantly. Moments later, they were surrounded by a mix of alien crafts and human military vehicles. From the largest ship emerged a figure they recognized, General Hawkins, his eyes now glowing with an unnatural blue light. "Welcome, Resistance," he said, his voice eerily calm. "The Overseer has been expecting you." As they were led away in restraints, Jack caught Emily's eye. She nodded almost imperceptibly. Whatever happened, their research would die with them. But instead of execution, they found themselves face to face with President Martinez herself, very much alive and apparently free from alien influence. "I'm sorry for the deception," she said, her voice heavy with exhaustion, "but we needed to be sure you were who you claimed to be." Over the next few hours, Martinez explained how a core group of world leaders and scientists had been working in secret, using the guise of compliance to gather intel on the aliens. "We've learned much," she said, "but not enough. Your research could be the key to turning the tide." With the combined knowledge of the resistance and the government's secret efforts, a plan began to form. Ghost and the government's top hackers would work to infiltrate the alien quantum network. Emily and a team of scientists would develop a way to reverse the effects of the Unity program. Jack, Sophia, and the remaining military forces would prepare for a physical confrontation. As the plan took shape, the Overseer grew suspicious of the continued pockets of resistance. It decided to accelerate the final phase of assimilation. The tide turns. All around the world, the alien ships began to pulse with energy. Those who had joined the Unity program fell into a trance-like state, their bodies serving as conduits for the massive energy transfer beginning to take place. In their hidden base, Ghost let out a whoop of triumph. "We're in. broadcasting the counter frequency, now. The effect was immediate and dramatic. All over the globe, Unity program converts began to wake from their trance, confusion and horror dawning on their faces as they realized what they'd nearly become. At the same time, Emily and her team launched their biological countermeasure, a specially engineered virus that would undo the quantum alterations to human DNA. The alien ships faltered, their energy network disrupted. This was the moment Jack and the military forces had been waiting for. Fighter jets scrambled, launching specially designed EMP weapons at the alien crafts. The Overseer, realizing its plan was unraveling, decided on a desperate gamble. It began to channel all the energy it had gathered, preparing to destroy the planet rather than admit defeat. As chaos erupted around the globe, Jack led a team on a daring raid of the Overseer's main ship. Fighting through waves of alien defenders, they finally reached the central control room. There, they faced the Overseer, a being of pure energy, more machine than organic life. You cannot stop the inevitable, it pulsed at them. Your planet's resources will be consumed, as countless others have been before. Jack stood firm. Not today, he said, activating the quantum disruptor Emily had designed. The Overseer's form began to flicker and fade. A new dawn for Earth. The final battle was fought not just in the skies and on the ground, but in the very fabric of reality itself. As the quantum disruptor did its work, the alien ships began to lose cohesion, their matter scattered back into the universe. Around the world, humans watched in awe as the massive ships dissolved into shimmering particles, like cosmic dust returning to the stars. In the aftermath, Earth faced the monumental task of rebuilding. The Unity program had left scars, both physical and psychological, that would take generations to heal. But humanity had faced its greatest test and emerged stronger, more united than ever before. President Martinez, addressing the United Nations, spoke of the lessons learned. We were offered a false utopia, a peace that would have cost us our very essence. But we chose a harder path, the path of freedom, of self-determination. We have seen now what we can achieve when we stand together. Let this be the dawn of a new era for humanity. In the months that followed, Earth began to reach out to the stars again, but this time with a new purpose. The technology salvaged from the alien ships allowed for unprecedented advancements in space travel and communication. Jack, Emily, Sophia, and Ghost found themselves hailed as heroes, but they knew the real victory belonged to every human who had fought to maintain their humanity in the face of overwhelming odds. As they stood on a hilltop, watching the sun set on a changed but free Earth, Jack turned to his friends. "So," he said with a grin, "anyone up for another adventure? I hear Mars is nice this time of year." Emily laughed, linking her arm with his. "Always forward, never back." "You know it," Jack replied, as they gazed up at the stars, no longer a source of fear, but of infinite possibility. And so, humanity stepped into its future, scared but unbroken, ready to face whatever the universe might bring, together. The end.